Welcome into Better in Green. We have week 2 of the NFL. We had a crazy Monday night game last night. Ethan, glad to have you here. What are your thoughts on the last night's Monday night game? The most important thing, Aaron Rodgers, 4 plays this year for the Jets, torn Achilles, looks like he's out for the year, possibly career. Josh Allen sucks still, and the Jets get the win. But what are your thoughts on that game and thoughts on Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, honestly, pretty bummed to see Rodgers go down. The only good thing about it is I do have a pretty big play on Dallas Cowboys over 9.5 wins on the year. So they do have the Jets next week or this upcoming week. Um, so I like it for that reason. But as I've let you know, last year I have been pretty profitable betting Aaron Rodgers during his career. So was hoping for another year with Rodgers, but obviously we aren't going to get it. Um, but 4 plays for $90 million, not so bad on Rodgers' part there. So the Jets got screwed. Um, yeah, I feel bad for like Lazard and Cobb and some of the younger guys. It's like, how do you get up and go to work the
Right.
next day? You had this big season planned and fell apart from the top. But yeah, they still got the win though. So I mean, I guess that helps them. But yeah, like you said, Josh Allen sucks. This is the first time I'm kind of falling off Buffalo. I know overreaction week 2, and this is probably going to be an overreaction, but I'm just I was really hoping to see Josh Allen stop playing hero ball. He didn't. He hasn't changed a bit. The offense sucks. Like honestly, outside of him and Stephon Diggs, they don't have anybody. So yeah, I don't know. I think the Bills could be in some trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Josh Allen fan. I love Josh Allen. I kind of like the Bills. He is on my fantasy team as well, my big boy league. So yeah, not great and very disappointing. I think he had 3 interceptions and then that fumble late in the fourth. But those 2 of those picks were terrible. He just launched it up deep. No purpose behind those throws. He honestly was just
Mhm.
closing his eyes and trying to get lucky. And that's just not what you want to do. If you're a solid team in the NFL, you don't do that. Now, if you're the Texans or the Panthers or the Cardinals, sure, throw a bunch of deep bombs. I don't really care because that's all you have going for you. But not when you're a full team like Buffalo should be. And like you said, they did not look great on offense. James Cook got a lot more touches than I thought, which is probably good for some fantasy owners. But yeah, Diggs is a beast. Gabe Davis sucks. Kincaid and Dawson Knox are fine, but yeah, Josh Allen sucked. 3 picks, and that fumble was just terrible in the fourth quarter. Terrible way to respond to the Jets tying that game up. Jets ultimately got that field goal at the end of the game. Then the Bills marched down, hit the thing off the upright. Crazy field goal to tie it at the end of regulation. My buddy did have the overtime prop. He throws a bunch of these stupid 1100 bets, and they always seem to hit. He's at hit 5 of them this week, and that OT prop was just crazy. But game goes to OT, and it was a good story with I forget his name. It starts with a G. His last name.
Xavier Gibson.
Gibson with that punt return touchdown. We saw him on Hard Knocks. Was one of the few guys on Hard Knocks that was actually worthwhile. We saw
Mhm.
him, one of the rookies undrafted was on the verge of getting cut and then has a game-winning punt return for a touchdown. So that was a really good story. I will touch quickly on Rodgers. I hate the Packers, but I always didn't mind Rodgers. He was a competitor. I thought he's great for the game of football, 4-time MVP. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame. I just hate seeing and seeing a guy end his season like that, and it very well could be his career. I don't wish that upon anyone, even a Packer. So I hope he gets better. I hope he comes back. I really can't see him coming back. It seemed like it was like pulling teeth to get him to play this year, and I don't think it's going to happen next year, which sucks for football. I mean, yeah, we talked about it with really this year, last year, and the year before. We're seeing all of our childhood quarterbacks go away. There's really none of them
Mhm.
left, and Aaron Rodgers is one of the last ones. We still have Stafford, but Stafford was 2009. Rodgers is what, 2005. Um,
Yeah.
so it's disappointing. And before we go into this week, I will bring up we did have a squad ride on Buffalo. Lost. Terrible. No excuses. So squad ride for Better and Green is currently 0-1, but we'll get it back this week. Any last thoughts? I know I just talked for a while there, but any last thoughts before we get into week 2?
Yeah, I'll just say for the record, I've immediately when Rodgers went down, started not liking Buffalo as much just because of the whole injured player thing. They've Buffalo prepped for 2 months probably to play Aaron Rodgers, and then 4 plays in, they get Zach Wilson. So
Right.
I wasn't actually shocked that the Jets came back and pulled that win out. I was nervous from the jump once Aaron Rodgers went down. Felt our squad ride was in danger. Ultimately, it was. So, yeah, we'll see how the Jets do this week with Zach Wilson. Now that the Cowboys get to prep for him, but we'll get into that.
Yeah. I will say one last thing before we get into week 2. Make sure you take advantage of those up by 7, up by 10 promos on DraftKings. I had Bills up by 10. They obviously were up by 10 at half, 13-3. Cash that. And then the Jets ultimately won the game. So sportsbooks are losing some money on those. I know they're only like a max $50. But there is one this Thursday. It's up by 7 in that Vikings-Eagles game. So make sure you go over to DraftKings and check out those promos. They're fun. So I got lucky with that one. And I know a lot of people got lucky on other games this weekend with those up 10 or up early bets on the money line over on DraftKings. So make sure you take advantage of those. But getting into week 2, we have our first game on Thursday, the Vikings versus the Eagles. The Vikings are currently sitting as a 6.5-point underdog at Philadelphia. The over-under is sitting at 48.5. I will mention one thing before I kick it to you, Ethan. This was a pretty big game last year where the hopes were pretty high on the Vikings after crushing their week 1 opponent. And then they go over to Philly and get slaughtered 24-7 last year in week 2. So same kind of matchup. However, the Vikings have kind of reversed. They lost game 1. So now they're going on to game 2. But important to note, last year, 24-7, Philadelphia dismantled the Vikings. But what are your thoughts on this game? What do you like and your predictions?
Yeah. Well, you saved me a lot of words there because I was going to bring up the exact same week 2 matchup last year in Philly as well. So, yeah, very similar matchup like you just said. Yeah, not impressed with either of these teams week 1. Like I said, I know this is overreaction week, so you have to take everything with a grain of salt. Philly's going to be fine. Minnesota, I mean, they moved the ball, couldn't get it in the end zone, so I think they'll be okay offensively. But obviously last year they're frauds. They won like, I don't know, 11-0 in one score games. We can go on and on about Minnesota from last year. So, I mean, they're due to regress. I don't think it's that surprising that they lost to Tampa. But it does look like money is coming in on Minnesota. I think this opened at Philly -8. It's now -6.5 for Philly. I can't agree with that. I would lay 6.5 with Philly. My favorite way to look at this would be in a teaser. Just get them down to -0.5, get them to win the game outright. Think they win. Or just a money line parlay if you take them with somebody else. I think Philly wins this game at home Thursday night. Minnesota has to travel on a short week. Never like playing on that. I think my best bet, and it's kind of weird for me, but I like the over 49. I think both offenses can put up some points. Philly's defense, on paper, really good, but New England didn't struggle to move the ball against them. Minnesota's defense is pretty suspect. I mean, Tampa just put up 20 points on them or something, somewhere in that range.
20-something, yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, I like the over in this game, like Philly and teasers. And you just brought up the up 7 promo. I would tread with caution on Minnesota on this one. I think that's where everyone's going to lay it because there's no value on Philly. I would proceed with caution personally. I think you have to get lucky, have them get the ball first and score immediately. But yeah, I like Philly in this one.
Well, we were in lockstep a lot week 1. I will bring up you had a great record both on the show and on your Twitter. So make sure you do check out Ethan on Twitter. His username is right below his name here on the stream. But yeah, you had a great week. We were in lockstep. Unfortunately, I did not bet a whole lot of what I actually said, but I am going to disagree with you week 2. As you said, week 2, what did you call it again? I never heard that before. Overreaction week.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that. It's kind of how I looked at it this week. I did all the plays that you thought there's no way they could start 0-2, blah, blah, blah. Obviously not for this game, but I do have Minnesota plus 6.5. I also have Minnesota on the money line in this game. So I definitely will be doing that up by 7 on Minnesota. It might be a trap, but I think a lot of people, Minnesota last year, like you said, everyone thought they were frauds. They were frauds. We found that out really quick. this year, I think it's just kind of the same story. It's like, oh, the same old Minnesota, same old Minnesota. I don't think a whole lot of people are thinking they're going to come in and compete with the Eagles this week. Honestly, they shouldn't. But Kirk Chains and JJ looked pretty good last week. Just their defense sucked, and the rest of their players sucked. But I think Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson can get it done at Philly. So I really like them to cover the 6.5, and I do think they will have a chance at this money line. So I will be taking that up 7 promo. Philly or the Vikings on the money line in this game. I don't have a play on the over under. I would agree with you with the over 48.5. As we progress through more of the games this week, you're going to see a lot of the totals are super, super low. So this is one of the games I would recommend probably sprinkling the over. I could see some offense. But yeah, I do like the Vikings, and I'm probably going to be crazy for that. But I think the Vikings is one of my favorite plays of the week.
Interesting.
So we will see. We will see.
Head to head, right off the jump. I like
it. Head to head, right off the jump. Yes, we do. By the way, we didn't even bring up Ben. Baby's born. Everyone's good. We brought this up on the live. He will be back, I believe, shortly next week. I am absent next week with the wedding. I think Ben will be filling in, but Ben will have a wrap for us because of his Kansas City Chiefs loss against our Detroit Lions. So look forward to a future Ben freestyle on the next couple shows, whenever that may be. Moving on, we're going into the Sunday slate now. We have the Chiefs versus the Jags. The Chiefs are a 3-point favorite on the road. Sorry, the over/under is at 51. What are your thoughts? I'll let you go first again here.
Yeah, it's tough because seeing the Chiefs go down 0-2 would be extremely odd, but I think it could happen here. I like the Jags plus the 3. This is playoff revenge spot for Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. Obviously got their season ended by the Chiefs in a very close matchup last year. And Kansas City, I mean, they have extra time to prep for Jacksonville, but I just don't know if it's going to matter. I think this is just a huge game for Jacksonville. I almost think Jacksonville was even looking ahead a little bit last week against the Colts. They kind of thought they could probably just go in, get the win, which they did. They even got the cover in a little bit of bullshit fashion, but they did cover. And yeah, I think we're just going to see a good effort from Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. So I would take the plus 3 at home. Although, like I said, it is tough to see Kansas City going 0-2. So I don't know if I'm going to have a play on the side in this game. I would look at the under 51. Kansas City's offense was not impressive whatsoever against Detroit. Again, overreaction week. Kadarius Toney probably has decent value on his receptions prop this week. I don't see him dropping every pass that comes his way. It's probably going to be like 2.5, 3.5 catches. So I would look that way for a prop, as disgusting as that is. But yeah, and then this game too, it's gonna rely a lot on Travis Kelce's status. I think this probably goes up to 4.5 in favor of Kansas City if Kelce is officially in, which I think he should be. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can get to the window with this game at all, but would lean under, would lean the Jags, and then probably favorite bet in this game would be that Kadarius Toney over receptions prop.
Well, we're not going to disagree on this one. I am with you right there on the Jags. I am going to sprinkle in the Jags on the money line as well. Because of that, I briefly stayed on it overreaction week. Who's really thinking that the Chiefs are going to start off 0-2? There's not a world really where that happens. But I think the Jags are a really tough opponent, especially at Jacksonville. Getting plus 3 at points, you got to take that spread. But I think Jacksonville definitely has a legitimate chance at winning this game. So I think the money line on Jacksonville could be a solid play there. Over under again, I think it's the highest of the weekend at 51. I would kind of lean the over just because I'm rooting for offense. Because again, these later games are very, very boring once we get into them. I think there's like 7 or 8 games, maybe even more, 10, 12 games at that 40, 39 mark for over under. So if we get a 51, I might have to sprinkle in that over. But yeah, I think the Jags are going to compete at home. I could see them winning it. You said it was going to be revenge from the playoffs. I do like the Kadarius Toney idea there. I did drop him in 2 of my fantasy leagues. I'm just done with him. I don't want him. I don't like his face. His face pisses me off, and then he doesn't have any hands. So he's out. But I do. There's no way he can have a worse week. So I do like that play. Moving on, we talked about this one. I believe our last NFL episode, we briefly talked about this in the future, but it was the Seattle-Detroit game. It is at Detroit. Detroit is a 5.5 point favorite. Over under in this game is at 47.5. I'll start this one off. I'm all over Seattle in this game. I got them at +5.5. I may even sprinkle Seattle on the money line. Detroit, we're obviously huge Detroit fans. You can see all the Detroit gear in Ethan's window there. I'm not wearing anything at the moment, but big Detroit fan myself. Big win, huge win at Arrowhead against a depleted Kansas City team. Say what you want. I know I got ripped up for talking about the Lions on TikTok. Everyone's saying, oh, they were injured, and they were, which is true, but it's still really impressive win to win at Arrowhead. So I'm not saying the Lions win was unimpressive, but I think they could have a little bit of a hangover. It is their first game at home, so the Lions will have a lot of big crowd. And Seattle looked terrible week one. So I think everyone's overhyping the Lions a little bit this week and undermining Seattle because they got destroyed by the Rams. So I think Seattle's going to battle in this game. I don't know if they're going to win. I'm not going to take Seattle on the money line because I'm going to be rooting for Detroit. But +5.5 in this game for Seattle seems a little too good to be true.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I hate to say it, but beautiful spot for Seattle here. Like you said, Detroit couldn't have looked any better Thursday night against Kansas City. Seattle could not have looked any worse in their home opener against the Rams. Yeah, major line value here. I think Detroit opened this game, or the look ahead line before week one was like Detroit -2.5, I want to say. So we're already getting 3 points of value. I've even seen sixes available. And I think it only goes up from here. So I'm waiting. I will be on Seattle more than likely. I want that +6, but yeah, I mean, you and I kind of both have been saying all offseason Detroit probably starts 1-1. They either beat Kansas City and then have a huge letdown spot with Seattle, or they lose to Kansas City, come in really focused with extra time for Seattle. So I still kind of stand by that. Obviously, really hope Detroit comes out and wins this game, which I feel better about it just with some of the quotes going around that locker room. Like Dan Campbell has had a couple of good ones throughout the weekend, but yeah, obviously rooting for Detroit. Really want them to win, but yeah, +5.5, +6, way too many points. I also know the under is getting steamed like crazy, which is tough for me to see. Last year, this game was like 45-42, Seattle,
Yeah.
I believe. Um, so I can't have a play in the total. I mean, I guess I would lean with the steam on the under just because I think Detroit's defense is better. Um, the Seattle offense looked completely horrific against LA. But I won't be playing the total. I will probably play Seattle. And yeah, I hope Detroit wins. But also Seattle's kind of had Detroit's number. I don't remember the last time Detroit beat Seattle, honestly. I know they lost to them in the playoffs. They lost to them 45-42 last year. They lost to them, I think, the year before that, or maybe 2 years before that. So yeah, I just think, yeah, again, overreaction. Detroit couldn't have looked better. Seattle couldn't have looked worse. We're getting a lot of value. So unfortunately, love Seattle.
Yeah, I think that's probably the play. That is 2 games in a row now where me and Ethan have agreed. Can we make it 3? The next game, one of the games I have no idea what to even think about. The Raiders versus the Bills. The Bills are an 8.5 point favorite at home. The over under in this game is at 46.5. Since I don't have any idea, I'm going to send it off to you and see what you got on this game because it's my brain is, I can't fathom what's going on in this line and what in this game.
Make it 3 in a row because of this game, I literally don't have a clue. Only way I could look is Buffalo in a teaser or in a money line parlay, I think. I don't see Buffalo losing this game. But like I said, I mean, for the first time in probably 3 years, I've really downgraded Buffalo. I don't know. What I saw
It was
last night was
bad.
not good. It
It was
was
bad.
not
It was
good.
Buffalo in the playoffs. He's
It
it's a regular season game. You don't need to make 80-yard bombs every single
Yeah.
just work the ball down the field.
I mean, I guess I was blind to the fact that, like, they really don't have anybody. I mean, like you said, James Cook was okay. He looked good. And I'm a
And
huge
they're
Dawson Knox fan, but, like, he's not good. Like, Dalton Kincaid might end up being good, but right now he's not good. Gabe Davis sucks ass. He had one good playoff game that made him a shit ton of money, got him a lot of hype, moved him up to a second round fantasy pick last year, and the dude blows. Like,
Yep.
cannot get separation. I think they're missing like Cole Beasley helped out a lot. I think they're missing a guy like him, but yeah, I cannot lay 8.5 with Buffalo. No way, no how. That's disgusting. So I would lean Raiders +8.5. I think Jimmy G's a baller. I think he keeps games close. I think he's a winner. But I don't see Raiders winning this game. No clue what to make of the total. Probably under. Um, but I mean, last week Buffalo came out, smoked Tennessee, I think 41-10 um, in week 2. So I could see something a little bit similar here, just kind of pissed off Buffalo. But until I see something out of Josh Allen other than freaking hero ball every play and only going to Stephon Diggs, yeah, I don't know if I can play Buffalo.
Well, 3 in a row you is correct. I don't like it, but I would lean the Raiders at plus 8.5. I mean, the Raiders won week 1. They beat the
Yep.
Broncos. But Broncos might be the same old Broncos, just like the Vikings are the same old Vikings, just like the Bills are the same old playoff Bills. So there's a lot of going things going on. One thing that I am excited for and hopeful for is I believe me and you both have Josh Jacobs in a couple of our fantasy leagues. He should have a day against his Buffalo Bills' terrible defense overall, but their run defense horrendous. I think I know Brees Hall last night had 130 rushing yards on like 8 carries. I know Dalvin Cook had like 50, 60 rushing yards. So they gave up almost 200 rushing yards in that game. So if Josh Jacobs doesn't get 100 rushing yards, I'm gonna be pissed. But I mean, 8.5 seems too high. So I think Vegas is a little square to take the 8.5, but I don't know. I can't put money on Buffalo right now. So I don't love that game. It's probably a good stay away game. If you
Hmm.
were to bet that game, I would love a Josh Jacobs, couple of Josh Jacobs props, I think would be the way to go in that game. But yeah, I would lean the Raiders at plus 8.5 in that game. Ugly game. Ugly game. Next, a big divisional game and a big rematch, or not a rematch, a big wake up call for the Bengals. They host the Baltimore Ravens at home. Cincinnati's getting 3 points in this game. Over under is set at 46.5. I'll go because I kind of know what you're going to say in this game. So I'm going to see if we're on the same side for 4 in a row here. Um, I know you're not a big Cincy guy. Cincy looked really bad week 1. I don't know. Well, I guess I did have the Browns. I was like, I don't know why I didn't predict that, but I did. So I was right on that one. But coming up week 2, again, what did you call week 2? I keep forgetting.
Overreaction week.
Overreaction week 2. So we're overreacting that the Bengals were just really bad week 1, and that just doesn't happen. They're going to get back. I don't really see it. I think they're going to struggle once again. They always seem to struggle against Baltimore. So I love the Ravens in this game at +3. Also, I really like this under. I know you're probably going to be on the under for a divisional rival game. Usually, always goes under. But we saw last year, Baltimore. I think at the playoffs. With Huntley, they might have not even have Huntley. It might have been their third string in the playoff, but they barely lost to the Bengals, who are loaded. So for whatever reason, the Ravens just really played the Bengals close, and I think the Ravens looked. I mean, they played the Texans last week, so I'm not going to say they looked good, but they looked fine. They got the job done. J.K. Dobbins is out for the year with an Achilles, but I mean, Dobbins was never really a star running back. Though I already see their other guy, I forget his name, but he's getting picked up on every single fantasy league out there. So he'll be fine. Um, Lamar Jackson looked meh, fine. But yeah, the Bengals look bad. Are they going to look that bad again? Probably not. But I think the Ravens have a really good chance of winning this game. I'm not going to take the money line, but I will take them on the +3.
Yeah. It's like we're sharing notes here. Like literally words were coming out of your mouth that I was like, I was going to say that word for word. Yeah, we're in lockstep, +3, under 46.5, like them both. Here's my one concern with Baltimore. They're already banged up on the year,
Yeah,
which is just like a
which
broken
was
record. I mean, these
what
guys
they
cannot
did
keep it
last
great.
year. Yeah.
I think they're down 2 offensive linemen already, a couple of defensive backs, Dobbins, obviously, which I don't care. Running backs are replaceable, dime a dozen. But still like Baltimore. Like you said too, and listeners of the show know I'm a big fade Cincinnati guy, was all of last year. I think this is the year. I think books are really going to struggle to price Cincinnati correctly. I think Cincinnati is going to way underachieve this year. Like I could see them winning 9 games, being like a 9-8 team, struggling to make a wild card game. Their offensive line is trash. I think this defensive line and pass rush gets to Burrow. Burrow looked helpless with Miles Garrett and company coming after him in Cleveland. But um, yeah, I mean, I'm high on Baltimore. I think Baltimore wins the division. I think Lamar bounces back, even though was kind of an ugly week 1 game for them, but I also think they were kind of looking ahead to Cincinnati already. Cincinnati clearly was not looking ahead to Baltimore. So yeah, I like Baltimore +3, probably money line. Um, like you said, divisional game just automatically has me leaning under 46.5. Think that's high. Baltimore was a major under team last year, since he just put up 3 points. So uh, yeah, under Baltimore. Like them both quite a bit.
Yeah, so that's 4 in a row for us. I don't know. I was going to say I have a feeling we can very well make this 5-0, but this is a team that I know you're not a big fan of. We have the Chargers traveling to the Titans. The Chargers are a 3-point favorite on the road. The over/under in this game is set at 46. I'll let you go first on this one.
Yeah, let me preface this. I should have said this at the beginning of the show, but it's Tuesday. So
Yeah,
we do
sure.
have we do have a long time before these games go live. So a lot of opinions could be altered, changing a little bit. Like Wyatt and I both said, we have no clue what the Buffalo game. Come Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we'll probably have more of a clue where we like in that game. But this is kind of similar. Um, I think Tennessee Titans, I mean, we've been harsh on them all year, but I think their defense is somewhat legit. I just don't know if their offense can keep up with the Chargers, honestly. So I guess I would lean the road favorite. Oh, which is just so disgusting. That's a far travel spot for LA as well, but I think the Chargers are. Yeah, I just don't know if Tennessee can keep up with them offensively. So I guess I lean the Chargers. I would lean the under. I just don't think Tennessee can put up the points with LA. So I could see this being like I don't know, 27-17 type of game maybe, um, in favor of LA. But yeah, like I said, Tuesday, a lot of time before this game. I'm gonna have to dig deep and find some more what I like into this game, but nothing as of right now.
Yeah. This is one of the uglier games on the list. There is, however, and you just mentioned the under in this game, I think is beautiful. 46 is a lot. I know the Chargers just put up 34 last week against Miami, but that was a shootout from the get go. Two high powered offenses just throwing it back. It was like a Pac 12 game, throwing it back and forth.
Mhm.
We're not going to see that in this Tennessee team. This Tennessee team can't throw the ball. They can barely run the ball. I think Derrick Henry had 45 yards, or I think he had 60 yards last week. So 46 seems way too high. So I love the under in that game. But I'm going to agree with you. I think I got to take the Chargers here on -3. Tennessee gave up a lot of passing yards week 1 to the Saints. I think they gave up 300 plus passing yards to Derek Carr. So wow, Justin Herbert is better, I think, than Derek Carr. So I think he can put up some big numbers. We all know the wide receivers are better for the Chargers than, I guess the Saints have Olave and Michael Thomas and Shaheed. So we'll call it a wash on the wide receivers. But and Eckler might be out, which makes the under even better. But I do think the Chargers get this done. I think they'll win this game. I'm thinking like a 23-9 type of game. I don't even know if Tennessee is going to get in the end zone, but I do think the Chargers win this game, and it's ugly, but I love the under in that as well. One of the closer spreads of the weekend, we have the Packers traveling to Atlanta. The Falcons are a home underdog. They are a 1.5-point underdog to the Packers. Over/under is set at an alarmingly low 40.5. I don't have a whole lot on this game. I will mention Jordan Love did better than I thought in week 1. Granted, he was playing the Bears. It's not much competition, but he was throwing the ball pretty well, making some pretty good decisions. Aaron Jones looked great. I think he pulled his hammy, though. I don't know if he's going to be, or maybe, did he pull his hammy or was that a celebration? It looked like he pulled his hammy.
He pulled his hammy, but he said he wanted to go back in. He could have gone back in, but
Okay.
coaches shut
So,
him down.
okay. So a tweak or yeah. Okay. So nothing serious, not like a 4-week hammy and straight.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, with that being said, I'll probably take Green Bay in this game. I really don't like Green Bay. I really despise Jordan Love, but yeah, I mean, I guess I'll take him over Desmond Ritter and Bijan and Algier. I did pick up Algier on fantasy. I got that off the waivers. Super happy about that. But I think Green Bay will win this game. Over under wise 40.5. I honestly would just stay away from that from the rest of my life. I could see this game being 2021 or something like that. So I think it's gonna be really close to that. I don't have a side either way. I guess I would probably lean the over just because I like betting overs more than unders. But I probably would just stay away from that in general. And I probably would just stay away from the spread. Honestly, I would just take the money line on either team. I think this is going to be a 1 point game. But I think the Packers get it done on the road.
So we finally will disagree once again. It was bound to happen, but this game is also tough for me. I'm not in love with Atlanta, but I am pretty high on Green Bay and Atlanta this year. I kind of bitched out on futures. I just kind of kept putting them off, putting them off, putting them off. Next thing I know, it was 15 minutes before kickoff. I was scrambling, didn't want to like throw out 10 different futures, just scramble brain. So I was like, you know what? I'll just play a lot of them live this year. Hope these teams get caught week one and get some added value after week one. Didn't happen. Green Bay won. Atlanta won. I wanted the Jets under 9.5. Obviously, that's long gone now that Rodgers is done. Um, couple other ones in there, but anyway, yeah, I was looking at the over win total for both these teams, like them both, but I do like Atlanta at home here. I think I loved Green Bay last week. I thought Jordan Love had big shoes to fill after Aaron Rodgers, we own you, to Chicago. Love wanted to come in and make it, Love or Rodgers didn't own you, the Packers own you type deal. He had all offseason to prepare for that one game. Um, so while I'm still high on the Packers, I still thought Love was good. I just think this is going to be a bit of a tougher animal for Love for his, he has 1 week to prepare now, just a little bit tougher. So I do like Atlanta. I still think Atlanta wins 10 games, wins that division. I think they're sneaky playoff win team this year. I think their defense is pretty good. Their offense, I think they have a good running game. They can control the clock. And just kind of methodically move the football. They're not going to be flashy by any means, which does put me on the under here. I think exactly that. Atlanta controls the ball, controls the clock. Green Bay just put up a ton of points, but it was against Chicago. Their defense blows. Their whole team blows. But yeah, nothing crazy for me right now. Again, Tuesday, I'll probably end up having a play on Atlanta because I do lean that way. But yeah, Atlanta, slight lean on the under, but yeah, probably Atlanta is my best bet for that game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be honestly a 1 point game either way. I think it's going to be back and forth, but yeah, I mean, I could see Atlanta at home. I could definitely see that happening. Now this next game, kind of like the Raiders Bills, I don't really know what's going on. We have the Bears traveling to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is a 3 point favorite at home. Over under is set at 41 and a half. Tampa Bay is coming off a surprising win against Minnesota, 20-17, and the Bears are coming off, as we just mentioned, a terrible loss against the Packers. They lost 30 or 20-38. So I'm not really sure how I feel about this game. I want to take the Bucks, but I also know the Bucks are bad, and just because they beat a fraudulent Vikings team, who I did bet to on the money line this week against the Eagles, but I don't know. Am I crazy for taking the Bears at +3? Because that's what I have down, and I hate it. But I think it's a little overreaction to be jumping on Tampa Bay this soon. They still looked terrible for 3 quarters in that game, and obviously the Bears suck. But I don't know. I think I might take the Bears at +3 on the road. Over under. This has got to be an under game in every definition of an under game I've ever seen. Tampa Bay doesn't really do much on offense. Chicago can't throw the ball. So this has got to be an under, but I think I'm crazy. And I think I'm going to take the Bears at +3. Hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Quick jumping back to the Atlanta game, I don't think I said this, but I think look ahead line was Atlanta was the favorite. So I think that line flipped just simply because of how good Green Bay looked. Similarly, I think Chicago was like a 1.5 point favorite. Look ahead for this game. So yeah, I'm with you. I like Chicago +3. I actually kind of like it quite a bit. I think they win the game straight up, even though they're dog shit, complete trash. Don't like them whatsoever. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it's an overreaction to Tampa getting that win against Minnesota. However, I love the under or the over.
Ooh.
And this is super weird. Wyatt, heavy on an under. I'm heavy on the
Yeah, what is
over.
going on?
Very weird, Twilight Zone, but this actually might be one of my favorite plays of the week. I was
The
impressed with
over in this?
Tampa.
Okay.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. All right.
I was impressed with Tampa moving the football. I liked Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans' connection in the second half. I thought they looked uh, pretty in sync. Think Baker can sling it to Godwin and Kate Otten, Mike Evans, all those guys there. And Chicago kind of showed when they fell behind against Green Bay. They were able to move the football up and down the field and put up points pretty quick. So I know Justin Fields can't really throw, but we saw him throw 2 screen passes in preseason for 2 touchdowns. I just think they can kind of dink and dunk their way to some points. I think Tampa can put up another 20 again, like they did this past weekend. So I actually do like the over quite a bit, and definitely would lean Chicago, as gross as that is.
Well, hell is freezing over because I said this is the definition of an under game, and I hate betting unders. And Ethan said this is one of his favorite totals going over of the weekend. So all hell is breaking loose. But I honestly will not be touching that over under. But I do think Chicago. I probably might place a unit there on either the spread or money line, maybe both.
If I
Next
place
week,
money on
go ahead.
Chicago this week, my hair might be gray. So for that reason, I probably won't bet on Chicago this entire year. That would just be the biggest stress of my entire life.
Yeah. Yeah. Make
Uh,
sure you did hopefully you took those Chicago's not to or the Bears not to make the playoffs at minus 190. Could have got a free
mhm,
draft guide. But
could've.
maybe next year you can jump on that. But next we have the battle of the 2 worst teams in the league, probably this year, but definitely last year. We have the Colts traveling to the Texans. The Colts are minus 1.5 on the road. The over under of this game is 40. Now last year, if you remember, the Texans were in a very weird situation. I believe if they lost that game, they would have gotten the overall number 1 pick in the draft. For some reason, the Texans won that game. I believe they won it 32-31 in one of the craziest finishes. I think Lovie Smith was still the coach. I think he got fired after that. Anyways, yeah, they won. I think it was a screw you to management because they're saying you're giving up on us. You're not going to get your first overall draft. It doesn't make any sense. But the Texans won that game. So now we have the rematch here. My favorite play of the weekend is the over in this game. It's at 40, one of the extremely low, but I think it's going to be the same kind of thing as last year. And I know we can't look at last year as what's going to happen this year, but both these teams are going to be terrible. They have nothing to play for even this year. There's just going to be a lot of offense. We haven't seen CJ Stroud really do anything. I don't think they scored a touchdown. I know they had 9 points. They might have scored and missed an extra point. Yeah, I don't think they scored a touchdown, so he needs to get his first NFL touchdown. Richardson actually looked pretty solid against the Jags. We talked about the Jags backdoor covering in that game was pretty gross, but the Colts looked okay. But I think this is a game where the Texans kind of come into their shell, get some offense going, and I do think the Colts can score as well. So I love this over. I think it could be both teams scoring 24-27 type of game. On the side here, I'm going to go with Houston at home. I hate it, but I think Houston at home might be the play here. And like I said, the Colts look pretty solid against the Jags, and they just couldn't finish it at the end. But I think the Texans get it done. I think they win the game, and I do think they cover the 1.5. I'm just going to take Texans straight up on the money line. But if you want to be a little safer, you can take them at plus 1.5. And I hate
Yeah,
that as well.
yeah, gross game. Funny that the books are giving us a 40 for the total here. I do believe this game tied 20-20 in their first matchup last year. I wouldn't touch the over-under with a 10-foot pole. Honestly, I see it very similar to a 2020. I can barely separate these two teams. Rookie quarterbacks, same division, disgusting seasons the last like 3 or 4. Really tough to differentiate these two. I would lean Texans at home. I'd take them in a teaser plus 7.5. I don't think the Colts can get separation on the road here. So that'd probably be my favorite way to look at this game. There's actually a lot of teaser legs here that I like, but I got smoked on teasers last year. I got smoked week 1. That was my only loss, was that teaser I gave out on the show. That I actually bet. That was my only loss. So I don't know. I'm still debating if I'm going to do teasers this week or not, but yeah, I don't think Indy gets separation. Props, I would look at both quarterbacks to throw a pick here. Not sure what you're going to get on that. It's probably not great. Probably minus 190, somewhere in there. So, but if you can get a decent price, I think both of them kind of struggle. Also, I know Anthony Richardson got hurt at the end of that game, so I don't even know if he's playing. I think he probably is, but he does have a
Yeah.
questionable tag on fantasy. Haven't looked into it. But yeah, don't really know what to make of this game. my best advice would be to pass.
Yeah, I think Richardson it looked like he just got a hit on the thigh hard. It looked just like a bruise, maybe like a Charlie horse. But yeah, I haven't really looked too far into it. If Richardson's not playing, it's fine because I think Minshew can score. But yeah, I forgot that was a 2020 game, week one in OT. I think this game's gonna be super close. It would be maybe an OT sprinkle again, maybe. I mean, every time I see them sprinkle those, they don't hit, but whatever. Next, San Fran traveling to their interdivision rival with the Rams. San Fran is a -8 point favorite on the road. Over under this game set at 44.5. I'll let you take this one first. Seems like the definition of an overreaction week in regards to sports betting or a sports
Yeah.
line.
Yeah, I'm shocked this line is this high. I think it opened 6.5 too, and it's been driven up by sharp money in San Francisco's direction. I can't agree with it. I like LA. This is always a tough matchup. This seems to always come down to a one score. LA at home too. Yeah, I would take LA plus 7.5. I would try to get that 8 that was out there. I'm sure there are still a few dangling around, but yeah, LA probably my favorite bet as of right now for this weekend. I think the Rams stick around. LA was another team I was high on. I was looking at their win total over. Kind of got scared off of that with the Cooper Cup news, but still did come back. I know you and I both had the Rams this past weekend. That was no
Yep.
sweat, super easy. Um, yeah, I mean Stafford and Donald are just too good. The other positions can kind of fill in. Their O line is decent enough, I think. So yeah, I like the Rams to keep this close. I think it's probably a 4 point game. Wouldn't actually be that shocked if the Rams won this game outright. They probably don't, but um, I mean, I think they could enough. That's scaring me off of a teaser on San Fran, getting them down to -1.5. But yeah, I would look for Rams and then probably the under. If I'm looking at the Rams, I think I have to go under here because they aren't gonna go into a shootout with San Fran and cover that. So lean under, but love the Rams.
Yeah, we're very in lockstep here. I think we've only disagreed on 2 games so far. Not disagreeing on this one. I have the Rams as well. +8 still alive. I'm seeing on DraftKings. But again, I don't know how long that's going to last. But yeah, it seems like a very big overreaction. Again, we forgot the Rams won week one. I know the 49ers blew the Steelers out of the water. I think the Steelers were overhyped. I didn't understand the hype, but the hype around the Steelers made me believe in the Steelers, which we could talk about that all day. But 49ers blew them out of the water. They look great. But the Rams also won. And I know they beat Seattle, but Seattle's a division rival. Seattle had a solid year last year. I am pretty down on Seattle this year, but that doesn't matter. But it just seemed, 8 points to San Fran in this game. And San Fran's offense is not built to score 40 points. San Fran they have a solid defense, a great defense, one of the best defenses in the league. But their offense with Brock Purdy is not going to just score 40 points a game. So I think the Rams can stay in this. I agree with the under. I think the under is going to be the play, but +8 in a game that I'm thinking is going to be, 17-13, 20-13, maybe like 24. Like this is going to be a lower scoring game, and 8 points is just way too many. So I love the Rams. I'm right there with you. One of my favorite plays. And then just the divisional under, you got to take it. I will note San Fran's run defense, phenomenal. I think they're the best in the league. Obviously, it's just week one. But the Rams don't run the ball. They don't care. Stafford, they just chuck the ball deep. I think Stafford had 330 yards in week one. And the San Fran secondary, they're fine. They're not great. They're fine. But their run D is really big, but that doesn't really matter because the Rams really don't run the ball a whole lot anymore. They don't have the running backs that they used to have. Like Cam Akers is not the savior at running back. So love the Rams in that play. So I'm glad we're in agreement on that one as well.
I'll say one more thing
go ahead.
too about the Niners putting up so many points against Pittsburgh. Watched that game pretty intently this weekend. The only reason they scored is because Kenny Pickett couldn't hardly get a first down.
Right.
That defensive pass rush got to Pickett. He scrambled, kind of panicked, it looked like. Could not pick up a first down. That's not going to happen to Stafford. Stafford's going to be able to move the football better than what Pickett was, which also puts me on the Rams and the under because I think San Fran won't have as many possessions that they had against Pittsburgh.
Right.
Just because I think Stafford's going to be able to, he'll get into some 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, but he'll be able to pick those up a lot better than Pickett was able to.
For sure. Yeah, I
and he's
completely
used to
agree.
the pass rush.
Yeah. All right. Two disgusting teams from week one. The Giants are -5 on the road at Arizona, which is pretty much a home game probably for the Giants. The over-under in that game is 40.5. The Giants lost week one 40-0 against the Cowboys. I saw a stat. I don't quite remember it, but they were the first team ever or sorry, no team has ever done this in a season, and it was allow or lose 40-0 or lose by 40 or more, lose the turnover ratio by 3 or more, throw a pick six, get a field goal block for a touchdown, and I think get
7+
sacked,
sacks.
7+ sacks. No team's ever done that in a season combined. They did it in a single game in week one. I think the Cowboys had like 45 points on fantasy. So hats off to all you Cowboys fantasy owners. It worked out when you drafted them in the 12th round like an idiot, but it worked out. But yeah, Giants are in shambles. The Cardinals are fine. I mean, they're not good. They hung with the Commanders, the Redskins. But that's not saying much. They were terrible. The one thing I really liked about Arizona is they had 6 sacks in that game. I don't know if that's good or if that's saying that Arizona's D line's great or that Washington's O line is just horrendous. But 6 sacks is pretty impressive in a game. So unless you're the Cowboys and have 7, but the Cowboys we all know has a great D line and linebackers. But with that being said, I love Arizona +5 at home here. It sounds crazy that I'm taking Arizona. I know it's kind of a look ahead spot, kind of going against, so not a look ahead spot, an overreaction spot, thinking that the Giants are just like so bad. It was a bad game for the Giants, I admit, but it was also a downpour rain. There's a lot of things going on. I think the Giants are a better team than what they look like on Sunday night. But I still think the Cardinals at +5, even though they don't have anyone at their home stands. I like them in this game. I could see them winning outright in this game. And more importantly, though, the under in this game is juicy, and I absolutely love it. With the Cardinals' defense, hopefully they can get a couple sacks. We all know the Giants' O line gives up a bunch of sacks. The Giants can't throw the ball; they can run the ball pretty solid. I don't think the Cardinals can really throw the ball, so I love this under. It's at 40.5. I don't think it's going to get much past 30 in this game. So love the under, but ultimately I would take Cardinals +5.
Yep. We this is the puke in the mouth game of the week. Absolutely. This game sucks. It's disgusting. Wouldn't bet it with your money. But I'm gonna take the Giants -5.5. Think the Cardinals had success against Washington because they had a quarterback playing with very little film on him, if any. He wasn't a rookie, was he? Was it Josh Dobbs?
Jobs, yeah.
He's not a rookie, right?
No, he's like third or fourth year, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe even older than that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Washington spent most offseason preparing for Colt McCoy, and then obviously he got cut like, I don't know, 10 days before opening kickoff. So, um, yeah, I think that's kind of why Washington struggled a little bit. I think the Giants are going to be obviously pissed off. They just got blown to pieces um, on a national televised game. Um, yeah, could not have looked any worse. I think, like you said, kind of the overreaction. I think they have good film now on Arizona's team as of week one. Um, Actually, the more and more I talk through this, I like the Giants quite a bit. Uh, I might actually end up playing them. I'm down on the Giants, but we all know Arizona's going to suck this year. Um, and yeah, I think the Giants catch them here. I think they win pretty big, but I do like the under as well. Don't think Arizona puts up many points. Um, I'm definitely not banking on the Giants putting up a ton of points by any means, but I could see this being like 20-3, somewhere in there, 24-3. So yeah, I'll take the Giants in that one, but pretty disgusting game.
Yeah, not a great one. Not a great one. The next one has received quite a bit of hype since last night. Again, we're recording on Monday or on Tuesday. So since Monday night's game, the Jets are playing the Cowboys, traveling to Dallas. Uh, the Cowboys are a 9.5 point favorite at home. The over/under in this game set at 40 on the dot from this when I checked. From that Jets game, what we're seeing is Jets offensive line is terrible. I think Aaron Rodgers, again, he was in for 4 plays. I think 2 of those plays were sacks. It wasn't good. And then we saw Zach Wilson just running for his life a majority of this game. With that being said, we also saw Dallas's, we just talked about their D line just destroying the Giants last week, 7 sacks. Absolutely had a field day. Micah Parsons might be the best player in the NFL. Absolute field day. So I think a lot of people are seeing both of those things, seeing the Jets' poor O line, the Cowboys' unreal defensive line, and thinking the Cowboys are going to dominate this game. I would have to agree. I would definitely lean on the Cowboys minus 9.5. I'm not going to probably take that, but that's where I'd lean on the side. I do, however, really like this under at 40. Dallas scored a couple, I think, how many? Do they have 2 touchdowns on defense against the Giants?
Yep.
So Dallas had 2 defensive touchdowns. The Jets really didn't do a whole lot on offense. Josh Allen handed them that game. So with that being said, like Dak wasn't super impressive. Pollard had 2 touchdowns, but not a whole lot of yards. So Cowboys offense wasn't super impressive. The Jets offense wasn't super impressive. Obviously, great defense, honestly, from both teams. So I love this under at 40. I think this is going to be a pretty low scoring game. I do think Dallas wins it. It's pretty gross taking them at minus freaking 9.5. That's disgusting in an NFL game with two competitive teams. But I think Dallas wins this like 13-3 type of fashion here, right on the border of that 9.5 spread. But the under should just flow like money in this game, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of crazy game. Like I said, I need Dallas to win. I have the over 9.5, my biggest play, future play of the year. I was loving that Sunday night game. I had those 2 parlays that you know about. Came down to a Dallas money line and the under, and then obviously the win total. So yeah, absolutely was loving that game with Dallas on Sunday night. And then last night when Rodgers went down, I could almost guarantee you the front 7 group chat for Dallas, their phones were lighting up like a Christmas
Yeah.
tree. Those guys were probably hyped to get Zach Wilson and that pretty lackluster Jets O line. But I actually love the Jets plus 9.5. I kept going back and forth in my head last night. I was trying to think like, is this injured player theory worthy? Because they have plenty of film on Wilson. He's been the starter there before. He basically started last night, all but 4 plays. So it's not like a true injured player game that I like to play on, but um, yeah, I think after that emotional win last night, I think that kind of puts some wind back in the Jets' sails just a bit. I think it's like, okay, we got it done against Buffalo. Like, we can do this. We still can get this done. We still have a lot of good pieces here. So I think they played really hard for Zach Wilson. Both defenses are super legit, so I couldn't agree more with the under. Absolutely love it. Um, yeah, I could see a lot of sacks in this game. Like you said, Dak didn't play well. He was my fantasy quarterback. He had 6 points for me, so that is an understatement. He barely did anything because he didn't have to. Um, but yeah, I see this being a very low scoring, ugly game. 20-13 Dallas is kind of the way I'm seeing this. Would love if it finished that way. But yeah, I really like the Jets plus 9.5. Really like the under. 2 of my favorite plays.
Yeah. It's a lot of points to take Dallas at 9.5. So I don't love it, but we'll see. A very boring game. The Commanders against the Broncos. The Broncos are home. The Broncos are 3.5 point favorite. Over under sitting at a whopping 39 points in this game. I'll let you go first since I went first the last couple of times. But first of all, Broncos are the same, and the Commanders are terrible. That's all I'll say. I was really hoping the Broncos were going to be better, but I don't know why because I freaking hate Russell Wilson. So I love that the Broncos still suck, but I'm interested to see what you got in this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep this one short. I know we tend to ramble on. These videos get pretty long, so this game I don't have a huge opinion on, so I'll keep it short and sweet. But I'd like to say Denver wins, but I will never lay money on Denver until they prove me wrong with Russell Wilson at the helm. Or sorry, I'm never laying points with Denver. That's what I meant to say there. But so I guess I would lean Washington plus the 3.5, but definitely am not surprised if Denver covers this spread and wins this game. Would lean under because Denver was a dead nuts under team last year. Washington, not impressive at all offensively either. So yeah, lean under. Would take the points with the Commanders, but would not touch that side whatsoever. This could also be the puke in the mouth game because this one's maybe even grosser. Actually, I actually talked myself into loving the Giants. So yeah, this is the gross one. No idea. Tuesday
Yeah.
night, no idea.
Tuesday night. I literally have an all caps barf on my screen or on my paper on this game, but completely agreed with both of your bets. Washington plus 3.5 is disgusting, but I think it's going to be a super low scoring game, which is why I love the under. I think it's going to be like 10-13. Broncos. So disgusting game. If you're watching that game, hats off to you because I will not be touching it. And I doubt I'll see it on Red Zone because those teams are not even come close to the goal line at all. So you're going to forget that game even happened. But yeah, I'm glad we could do that one quick. The Sunday night game, the Dolphins are traveling to the Patriots. The Patriots are 2.5-point underdog at home. Over under is set at 46.5. What are your thoughts on this one?
Pretty disgusting. I like the Patriots at home plus 2.5. I like the under, which I hate taking unders in Dolphins games, but I think Bill Belichick, I just still give him so much defensive credit with the Patriots, which was kind of my reasoning for liking the Patriots last week, even though they didn't get the cover, should have, didn't. That game was kind of lower scoring. I think it landed right at 45, and I think that was the over under. So a push on the total, but yeah, like I said, I think Bill Belichick finds a way to kind of slow down. No one's going to stop this offense, but I think Belichick can find a way to slow it down. Um, he's going to put the ball in his offense's hands, and they're going to have 7-8 minute drives, just pounding the ball, short dump downs from Mac Jones, keeping the ball out of Tua's hands and Tyreek and Jalen and all that speed on offense. So really like the under. Again, maybe one of my favorite plays of the week. I feel like I keep saying that, but love the under here. Also prime time. I'm drawn to prime time unders, divisional unders. And then yeah, Patriots plus 2.5. I think they let that one get away from them against Philly. Miami's defense was kind of trash. They gave up a shit ton of points. The Chargers moved the ball pretty much with ease. So I would lean New England, but love that under for sure. And then props I would look at. If you can get Tyreek Hill, longest reception under like 45, 50 yards, I think it's worth a shot.
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying, but like, yeah, every catch he has, I feel like is over,
Yeah.
a shit ton of yards. So I would lay overs on him. I bet you it's going to be low 40s, 41.5 maybe. I'd take a shot on the over on that. I think you could get a deep one, which sucks for the under, but yeah, maybe take a stab, little sprinkle on Tyreek Hill, longest reception over, depending on what's set at, and then love the under. Might lock that in tonight.
Yeah, literally lockstep. New England plus 2.5 is disgusting, but I think that's the right side. It should have won last week. We talked about it against the Eagles, but I think it is the right side here. I will be probably sprinkling New England on the money line as well, but love the under in this game. I think 46.5 is too high, and I think that's because of what Miami did in week one. We have to remember Miami did that to the Chargers. We all know the Chargers, the secondary of the Chargers is terrible, but the overall defense of the Chargers might be the worst in the league. So, in New England, as you said, Belichick always finds a way. He is a defensive coach. He's defensive minded. He has a major say what goes on defensively on that team. So I think they'll find a way to slow him down. You can't slow him, the Dolphins all the way down, but they'll find a way to slow him down. And like you said, the biggest way that they're going to combat the Dolphins offense is really long drives for themselves. So just keep them off the field. So love the under a lot. But I do like New England plus 2. Oh, I don't like New England plus 2.5, but I think that has to be the play. So yeah, I really like that under as well. So I'm glad we agree on that one. We have 2 Monday night games. I'm not really sure why. I don't understand. Do you know why? Is there a reason?
I don't know why, but it's this Monday and the following Monday.
Really?
I assume it's just because bye weeks don't start yet.
Okay.
Because usually there's like the first Monday typically has 2 Monday night games. I don't know why they didn't week 1 and now they are week 2 and week 3. But yeah, I assume it's just because there's 16 games being played. Maybe just more airtime. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, that's
No
true. I was
complaint.
wondering why there were so many games at 4 o'clock last week on Saturday. There's usually like 3 games at 4. I think there's 5 going on. I was like, oh, this is kind of crazy. But yeah, that makes sense.
Mm.
There's no buys. So yeah, totally makes sense. But the first game, I believe it is the first game. I think it's at 7 Eastern time. The Saints Panthers. The Panthers are at home, but they are a 3.5-point underdog in this game. Over under in this game is set at 40. I'll go first here. This is, in my opinion, the lesser of the 2 Monday night games. Not really excited for this one. The Saints squeaked by week 1 against Tennessee, and then Carolina looked terrible against Atlanta. So no surprise here. Like we've said it, I think the last 5 or 6 games, but I do like the under in this game. Carolina literally, I don't think has an offense. They can't do a whole lot. Um, Bryce Young, I'm still not impressed with. I still don't really think he has a lot of help, but I also don't think he's that good of a quarterback right now. He's super young, so I just don't love Carolina to do anything offensively. And then the Saints, I was very disappointed in the Saints. A 16-15 win, like they get. I know it was against Tennessee. It's not a tough team. So I was a little disappointed in the Saints because I kind of wanted to be high on Derek Carr this year. Was not very high on that game. So I like the under in this. Um, and then I hate it, but kind of like the Patriots game, I think it's the right side, and I think I got to take Carolina at plus 3.5. I think the Saints at minus 3.5 is too easy, but the Saints just looked bland on week 1, so I just don't really trust the Saints. I obviously don't really trust the Panthers offense, but 3.5 point favorite in a game that I think is going to be extremely low scoring. I think the Carolina Panthers can lose by 3 points. So hate it, but I think it's the right side.
Yeah, completely agree on the under. Don't see a world where this goes over 40 points. We'll definitely be playing that. Hope it somehow goes up. I don't know who the hell would bet the over. But hoping I can get a little bit higher, 41, 41 and a half. I'm going to lean New Orleans -3. I simply think they're the way better team. Typically, my wheelhouse is divisional home dogs in prime time. But I cannot get there with Carolina. I think Carolina's dog shit. I think they're down in the cellar with Arizona, Houston, Indy. I think all those teams are equally trash. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Carolina's the worst team in the NFL this year, record-wise. Get the first overall pick. I think they're really bad.
They look terrible on offense. Terrible.
Just, oh man,
Who are
it's
their
really
wide?
bad.
Adam Thielen is their wide receiver 1. Like,
Is he
I,
actually?
yeah, I just picked up Hurst because he
Yeah,
got like 7 or 8 targets. But yeah, he's their wide receiver 1, and Mims is their wide receiver 2.
yeah. They do have DJ Chark, who I know
Oh
was
yeah,
out.
then Chark, I forgot. Chark
Yep,
was probably, but even Chark, like
he
I
was
don't
like
know.
what, wide receiver 4 for Detroit, 3,
Yeah,
4.
yeah, and then I mean they got Miles Sanders, which is fine, Chuba Hubbard, but oh
It's like that Rudolph movie, The Island of Misfit Toys. It's just
yeah.
like all these guys that were like decent on their teams, like kind of aging. Like, oh, let's
Let's
all
put a
just go to
bunch of
Carolina.
third string wide receivers on the same team and make one of them a
Yeah,
first. Like, yeah,
with one shiny toy and Bryce Young and see how we gel.
yeah.
I think Carolina's dead nuts under team this year. I think you can make a lot of money betting Carolina unders. Probably make a lot of money fading Carolina as well. I don't think they're good. Um, and I think New Orleans is decent. I think they're 8, 9, 10 win football team. Um, so yeah, I mean, I won't be playing. I just cannot get myself to lay points on the road divisional primetime game. But that is my lean. Love the under.
All right, in the final game of the weekend, the final Monday night game of the two, we have an interdivision rival. We have the Cleveland Browns are -2 on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The over/under in this game is at 39.5. I'm going to let you go first. I was very high on Pittsburgh last week. I just don't know if I can get them back. So I'm interested to see what you got here.
Absolutely love this game.
Really? Wow.
Love it. I love that we have Bengals, Ravens, Browns, Steelers. I love AFC North matchups. Yeah, really pumped to watch both of those this weekend, but love the Steelers. Steelers could not have looked any worse against San Francisco. Cleveland could not have looked any better against Cincinnati. Big time overreaction. Think Pittsburgh look ahead line was the favorite in this game, as they should be at home. Love Pittsburgh. They're winning this game. Take it to the bank. Really like them. +2, I'll be safe, but money line them. They're winning that football game. Under 39.5, you have, in my opinion, still two of the best defenses. Obviously, Cleveland held Cincy to only 3 points. Um, Pittsburgh let the Niners put up 37 on them or somewhere in
Yeah,
there.
37
But
or
like I said,
38,
I mean,
I think. Yeah.
that pass rush, which Cleveland has a pass rush pretty similar to San Fran, but um, yeah, I mean, I think Pickett will play better. I think a divisional game, he'll be a little bit more familiarized with this defense. Not sure if he played him last year. I'm sure he did. I know he came in kind of late into the season, but um, yeah, I absolutely love Pittsburgh in this game. Like the under quite a bit too.
Yeah. Well, I had Pittsburgh written down at +2. So it looks like that's what I was doing. I was kind of hoping you were going to convince me off of it because they screwed me last week. And Cleveland won me money last week. So I gotta trust my gut. Pittsburgh +2 was disgusting, but I think it's the right play again. I think it's the right play. So I'll take that over under. I guess I would dabble with the. I'm not gonna have money on it, but I guess I would dabble on the under in this game. Don't like it nearly as much as the Carolina under, but I think the under is probably the smart move. But yeah, it's got to be Pittsburgh. I hate it, and Pittsburgh might be the new team that just ruins me this year. But I think it's the right play. I think it's the right play. I hate it.
As kind of gross as these 3 primetime games are, Sunday night and the 2 Monday nights, I kind of love all of them. I have very strong opinions on all of them. So
yeah, I'm in agreement with 2 of the 3. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see. All right. So out of all of that, do we want to give our picks first, or do you want to give our squad ride first?
I think we do squad ride just so we
Squad
don't
ride first.
give it with our picks.
Okay. What I know we are pretty lockstep with New England. Obviously we are lockstep in all these games.
The
Pittsburgh.
one I mentally noted that I thought we were both pretty passionate about was the Rams.
The Rams +8. I love it.
I love it.
I don't have it as one of my plays, so that works.
Okay. Yeah.
Rams +8. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll say it's +8. According to Tuesday, 9/12, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time on DraftKings, the Rams are sitting at +8 at -112. So that's the line we're getting.
Okay. That is terrifying going against the Niners, but I like it.
Yeah, I love it. All right, you want to get into our big 3?
Let's do it.
Do you want to start or do you want me?
I'm going to let you start. I'm kind of going off the cuff here.
Okay. I'm going to go to my bread and butter here. I'm going to take the over in the Colts Texans at 40. It was my favorite total of the weekend. I understand it was tied last year, and in the final game of the season last year as well, it went way over. So it's probably whatever. I love it. I love this game going over. I think the Texans wake up. I think the Colts wake up. It's a great game for both these rookie quarterbacks to get some confidence. So I love the over of 40 in that game.
Okay. I will give out. Or were you going to run through all 3? Or
shoot. Yeah, I can't do all 3. Sorry.
Okay.
Forgot that's how we do it. Moving on. Oh boy. I'm going to edit this out for a second. I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins, New England Patriots under 46.5. And then for my third and final play, let's do a spread. I'm going to do Seattle +5.5.
Ooh.
And that's
the
big 3. Yeah. Detroit will still win, hopefully. Root for Detroit on the money line, but I think Seattle's going to cover this game.
Yep. I agree. Yeah, the only one I disagree with you with is that over there. But I don't have the balls about the under. So.
I'm pretty passionate about it. I don't know why. It already locked it in actually right before the show. But $55 to win 50 on it. So we'll see. Okay. I love it. I don't know why. It's just it's singing to me.
This could be Wyatt's first winning bet with a ring on that finger.
That's true. That is true. I hopefully will be cashing Michigan spread on the night, but we'll see.
True. We'll see. Yeah, true. There's a lot of degenerate special college football after you get that ring. So
yes.
I'm sure you'll cash something before this game. But I wanted to be different from you in these 3 picks, but I'm so damn passionate about that Sunday night under New England, Miami.
That's fine.
Love it. Have to put it down. And as much as I do want to lock that in right now, public loves playing the overs in primetime games, so I am going to wait. I think maybe that can move up. I don't know. It's probably going to stay right around 46.5. Probably doesn't move much, but I'll take a shot at waiting there. Next one I'm going to do is Pittsburgh money line. Nah. The odds aren't good enough. It's -110 for +2, +105 for money line. So I'll give out the +2.
Okay.
I think it's a low scoring, closer game. So I'll just play it safe. But yeah, I think Pittsburgh wins that game outright. So there's 2 primetime games there. Let's get in on a little daytime action. 2 gross ones. Looking at both New York teams. and I'm going to give out the Giants -5.5.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought you were going to go with the Jets.
Yeah, that's absolutely
Okay.
disgusting.
All right. I'm seeing, 1 second, I just refreshed. Yeah, 5.5. You're right. All right. I love it.
Gross.
I did have Arizona in that game, but I really regret that. But I'm going to go with my gut. Well, you stayed hot. Go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
Okay. Well, you stayed hot you were hot last weekend in the NFL. Hoping, I mean, we were pretty much in lockstep here on a majority of these plays. So if I just bet what I just said, obviously that's hard to do because it's Tuesday. By the time we record this, thoughts change come Sunday. But as of right now, it seems like we're in lockstep. So hopefully I can get a little bit of your hot streak going onto my betting because that would be much appreciated and much needed. But yeah, I'm looking super forward to week 2. Overreaction week. I love the name you gave it there. I think we talked about that a lot in the show. So great name. I've never heard that before, but that's beautiful. So I'm very excited for this week of the NFL. So this is my last episode for the next week. I will be back probably, I think, next Monday or 2 Mondays from now. So I am getting married, then going on a honeymoon. So I will be back, and then that after that. But Ben should be in here for the week while I am away. So I look forward to watching. I'll probably jump on a couple lives out there. I know it's a 6-hour time difference. So but I look forward to watching. I know you guys will hold the fort down. But yeah, I'm super excited for the NFL this week. Super excited to get married. Let's not forget that. But yeah, hopefully we can have a big week in the NFL.
Yeah. First off, congrats. I think this is probably the last time I'll be seeing you before you are officially married. So congratulations, have fun, safe travels, all of that. And yeah, once Wyatt's back, I think Ben's back. We have the 3 of us back for good, or for the foreseeable future at least. So yeah, can't wait for that. But yeah, also like you said, not trying to toot my own horn too much here, but like Wyatt said, I did have a really good week 1. Went 8-1, hit a couple of big parlays. Last year I went, I think 8-0, I believe, in week 1. So I'm riding like a 16-1 hot hand on week 1. I did go 4-0 last year, week 2. And just historically, I have been really good betting week 1 and week 2 of the NFL. So again, not really trying to toot my own horn. I just want to help other people make money. I think these 2 weeks, obviously one of them's gone now, but I think this week is a really good time to just follow a couple of my plays here. So after that, who knows? Week 3 through 18, 19, whatever there is now, hasn't been as steady profit as week 1 and 2, but I think it's a good week to follow some of the plays that I come out with. So follow me on Twitter. I'll tweet out all plays. Was going to get into selling them, but I don't know. We're still bowing that over. So for now, they're still free. Get them while you can. And looking forward to another profitable week 2 NFL.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to hop on those because I struggled, not going to lie. Week 1, college football, then week 2, college football, week 1, the NFL. I struggled a little bit. So I probably will be following a couple of those plays. It looks like we're already in agreement for most of them, but I look forward to seeing those tweeted out closer to game time. But from there, make sure you do follow us on all socials. We're continuing to post blogs every day. I think Ben just came out with a waiver wire edition for fantasy. So go ahead and check that out on our website. That is bettergreen.com. I probably won't have that many blogs coming out this week and next week, but I will have a couple of videos. So make sure you do check out those videos. They will be on our Instagram, TikTok, and maybe they will be over on YouTube Shorts as well. So check those out. But we will have a lot of content, as always, with football. Football is king. We want to make sure we talk about every single game and all the important things. So make sure you check us out on all the socials. We look forward to having you guys here, and hopefully we can all have a good weekend. That's all I got. You got anything else?
That's it for me.
Perfect. Well, we'll see you guys on Monday for our live. Make sure you check that out. But have a good weekend and hopefully win your bets. We'll see you guys.
See you guys.
You better start listening to the Better and Green podcast. You will not regret it. Trust me, trust me, trust me. And hey, I'm Dean Blandino.
Welcome to Better and Green, eh? To Better and Green, eh? To Better and Green, eh? Listen in and cash out. That's what it's all about. Come on, let's make cash now. We always on spot and we cover old spot from the bottom to the top. Hey, shout out to Ethan, shout out to Wyatt, shout out to Ben. Welcome to our podcast. Better win green.